Well, today's soap is inspired by a tabletop game that my husband and I play with a few of our friends. It is called Delta Green, and it has been a really good time. I'll be using an ingredient that I've never used before, and that is beer. I don't drink beer. I'm not interested in getting involved in that tomfoolery. This was brought over by one of our friends. This is a non-alcoholic beer, which means it has less than 0.5% alcohol. And this particular brand is called Brews Dog and Lamb of God Ghost Walker. And this non-alcoholic beer was brewed in Columbus, Ohio. So the ingredients in this beer is water, barley, hops, and yeast. So that'll be a fun experiment to see how that goes. Fragrance oil I'm using today is called Seventh Heaven. And when I look at Nurture Soap's website about the fragrance notes, we've got top notes of lime, middle note of bergamot, bottom note of frankincense, Listia cubeba. I don't know what that last one is, but I do know what frankincense smells like. So for a little description, they say it's a citrusy kick with a slightly smoky and resinous finish that makes this fragrance sweet and sultry. Nurture Soap says this is one of the best fragrances that they've smelled. So if you want to know what one of Nurture Soap's favorite fragrances is, it's Seventh Heaven. Unless they're joking. I think it smells great. They also say it's a slow-moving fragrance with very light discoloration. It only has a 0.4% vanillin. I'm going to really quick finish the ingredients, and then I'll take you outside, okay? Thank you. Yes, thank you. So another special ingredient involved is going to be coffee grounds. These coffee grounds have already been brewed and made delicious coffee this morning. You don't have to use coffee grounds that have been used, but putting used coffee grounds in your soap helps with less browning, and also they say that the grounds aren't quite as rough when it comes to the exfoliation that it gives. We're also going to include some French green clay because the tabletop is called Delta Green. So I'm going for a green theme. Spirulina powder, a very nice natural green colorant. Seafoam green and green vibrance, as well as activated charcoal, because I don't want this to be a vibrantly green soap. I want it to be a little darker because the Delta Green campaigns tend to be dark. Then we're going to add some sodium lactate. Running low. But that's okay. I'll just use salt when that's gone. Let's go make our Delta Green soap. I'm not sure what to name it yet. I'm working on that. I'm not naming it Delta Green because people are going to be associating it with the Delta variant or the Delta Airlines. So I'm going to come up with a different name. So let's see how much non-alcoholic beer we have in here. Ten and a half ounces. Throw in some ice cubes to keep our lye calm. Let's go for 13 ounces. Good enough for me. All right, let's see what kind of a color shift we get with this. It got lighter. All right, I'm curious what the temperature's at. 166. Actually, I'm gonna let this cool down about 60 degrees, and we'll be back. First of all, our French green clay, as well as our fragrance oil, and the sodium lactate. Lovely green. And here goes our lye beer. two colors. This one is Green Vibrance, as well as a little bit of Spirulina powder to darken it. And this is activated charcoal, a little bit of coffee grounds, and sea foam mica. Beautiful. Put a lot in there. And some in there. Good enough. This. All right. Gonna try a one pot wonder sorta. Once I pour this one pot wonder, I'm gonna put a hanger through it just to see what kind of design we get. We're doing pretty good on acceleration here. That's nice. Save whatever's left for the top there. You can see there is some acceleration happening. You see the wrinkles in the batter on top? Alright. Here we go. You know, that went so smoothly, I might not put a hanger through it. I don't know, it's still tempting to see what a hanger would look like if I just went down it like once or twice. Didn't do any swirling, but just kind of broke the look of it. I don't know. Should I? I don't know. Sure did good on the acceleration. This is wonderful. I think because Delta Green is a little unpredictable, I am going to put a chopstick through this. Just to see what that does. I'm going to just go up and down. That's pretty. Happy with that top there. All right, see you for the cut. I'm excited. I'm very excited actually. Boy, it took this soap a long time. Just like my Ale 8 soap took a long time. And is it even ready yet? Long time as in like 4 days. Whoa. It's really soft. If you look at the... I think I'm just going to leave it like that actually for a little while. Just so that the sides can kind of not be really sticky. So probably like 30 minutes or so. Alright, it's been about 30 minutes since I unmolded it, and it's much smoother on the sides instead of sticky. Here's our first cut. I am very happy with it. So those spots there, those are coffee grounds. And I'm excited to try this bar because I really like that idea of coffee grounds only in small portions of the soap so that it's not overwhelmingly rough. Cutting very smooth here. Whoa, nice. This almost looks like the secret feather swirl. I like that. I think that's fitting for the inspiration for the soap. If any of you are familiar with Call of Cthulhu, that is the, I guess, the basis of the Delta Green tabletop RPG. Now this is cool. I like this. There are like monsters in Delta Green. This could pass for like a scary monster or a scary evening. I like this a lot. This is exciting. Very nice. I'm looking forward to giving this soap a try since this is my first beer soap. Seeing what kind of bubbles come out of it. I'm curious if it'll have the same kind of reaction as alcoholic beer, because I know when you make beer soap, you usually boil out the alcohol. And since this is already non-alcoholic beer, I thought, well, maybe I can just do it and see what happens. Let's show this side by side and see if it's interesting at all. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. It kind of looks like a path down a scary forest. And if you do the other side, it also looks like a scary forest. Well, I'm extremely happy with how my Delta Green inspired soap made with beer turned out. When I showed Aaron my soap design, that's my husband, he liked it a lot. He said it looks kind of like an eldritch horror. So I was like, oh, thank you. Again, just like with the pop, I think it would have been a good idea if I had frozen the beer into ice cubes. Less chances of what we call scorching, turning things orange or brown. I really like the smell. I think it's a good smell. I'm not sure why Nurture Soap says it's their favorite smell. It's good. I like it. But I don't know why it would be their favorite of all their fragrances. That this one's their favorite, because I just think it's a good smell. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time for another beveragey soap.